I wrote 10 letters to 10 billionaires individually. Okay? And I asked them, I said, what is the secret of success? Oh, I knew I had to learn. Knowledge is important, very important. For example, when you learn to drive a car, you don't know how to drive a car. You have to learn, you have to read, you have to see, you have to manually actually practically do it. I wanted to find a secret of success because I wasn't going to waste this life. And our life that we all have is a gift. It's a magical gift. Yeah? We just need to make the most of it. And that's why I'm here today.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Your Successful Self. Today, we have a man here in the studio with us who, after learning that despite the racial discrimination against his grandfather actually, as an Indian family in the then England, built so many businesses and also helped build the first Sikh temple here in Europe. And by learning that, he also decided that he's going to help people become the best versions of themselves. So he started teaching the science of motivation and coaching people. He's Jag Singh, and he's our guest today for the show. Hello, Jag. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Emmanuel. Thank you for having me today. Thank you.
Well, I really appreciate your time and coming on our platform, to speak to our audience about the science of motivation, because our platform is all about helping people, with the success strategies and tactics, to help them become better versions of themselves, And so for every interview, I begin with the background of the guest. And looking at your own story, when I was researching you, I realized that not only were you inspired by your grandfather to be on the path that you are on, teaching people the science of motivation and coaching people. But somewhere along the line, I think you saw something, a need in the marketplace that you felt like people lacking that very thing in their lives. You decided that you are going to fill in for that need, and which is about motivation. So you started teaching people about the science of motivation. Walk us through the whole process, how everything started with you and, how you dealt with everything to be able to become the person that you are today and still, helping people with whatever you're doing.
Well, Emmanuel, my grandfather came to this country in 1945. England was a different place at that time. He was a tailor, a world-renowned tailor. He went all over the world. And in 1945, India wasn't in a good place because the British Empire was leaving. Mm-hmm. And to tell you the truth, Emmanuel, India was in tatters. So he became the first person to decide that we're going to move to England. So they moved to England. When he came to England, first of all, that was a big step because no one in the family had ever left India, let alone go all the way to England. My mum was 5 years old at the time. Then when he came to England, he established a small Sikh community. And there were individuals who didn't know how to fill in certain forms, didn't know nothing about certain how to contact the NHS, etc. So he became a community person, helped people because he could read and he could write, so he helped with forms. And on top of that, he started his own business because he was a tailor. He came up with a great ingenious idea because at that time we had the Beatles and Elvis making big shouts out there, and what he did was he decided to make clothes like the Beatles, Elvis, and he had market stores, and before he knew it, people were flocking to buy the gear from him on his stalls, and he made a tremendous businessman. And as I grew up and I heard his stories, I thought, wow, here's an individual that not only has he gone out of his way to help his community, but also he's inspired people by his business aspects of creating a business and showing the community that, we can stay here, we can build something here. And that still is inspired today in our family. But one thing I learned from him was that, wait a minute, he helped people. Now, we can all go through life and we can get a job or we can have a family or we can settle down, But I thought to myself, I want to do something different. Now, I grew up in the 1970s in England, which was not a very nice place for Asians and blacks to be because of the National Front, etc. So we were the only Asian family in our area in Canning Town. And at that time, unfortunately, I was the only Indian child in the whole school. There was hardly no blacks, no Chinese, there's nothing. There's no other ethnic. And because of that, me and my family faced a lot of racism. At school, we had the racist children, and at home, we had the skinheads smashing our windows, get out of our country, blah, blah, blah. And that was a tough time for a child to go through. When I came to age, when I was 13 years old, I couldn't read or write because I hadn't concentrated on education. I was too busy trying to save my life more than anything, to get through that bad patch. But when I got through that patch, then we entered the 1980s, and 80s included growing up in East London was surrounded by gangland warfare, drugs, robberies. It was a state. So I said to myself, I don't want to be part of this. I want to be I want to be somewhere better. I want to do something for people. And then I think the big change came to me when I actually started working for an insurance company in London. I came across this guy called Ben. And Ben, he said to me, he said, Jag, do you know what? Because it was a sales company, having insurance policies you sold, blah, blah. And I wasn't selling nothing. I had nothing going for me. And this man introduced me to my first motivational book, How to Master the Art of Selling. And it's by a guy called Tom Hopkins.
Yeah.
Now, I learned many selling strategies from this book. And before you know it, my name was from the bottom to the top. I became the top salesman. But one thing I took out of that book, which I like to speak about very quickly, is 3 words: do it now. That's it. And in my office, I had all these little post-its everywhere saying, do it now, do it now. I mean, why wait till tomorrow? Or just get it done now? Before you know it, I had a massive clientele. I was on top of the list of the top salesmen. But I've actually taken those words from Tom Hopkins a step further in my life. First of all, yes, we should have in our mind that we should do it now, get it done right now. But ask yourself, how long will it take? Like, for example, you've got a cupboard at home that you don't clean. Right, you never clean it. I'm going to clean it one day. I'm going to clean this cupboard one day, but you just don't get to do it. Now, if Tom Hopkins' theory comes in, do it now, you'll get it done.
Yeah.
But ask yourself another question: how long will it take?
Yeah.
Half an hour, a day, 2 days? No, it'll take about 30 minutes, 40 minutes tops, and you've done it. Now, that's not only the cupboard. How about other aspects of our life? Join the gym.
Yeah.
Read the book.
Yeah.
Contact that person that you haven't spoken to for a long time.
Yeah.
Write your goals down. Make a plan. And also, writing goals down, if you take no action towards those goals, it's just a wish.
Yeah.
But therefore, make sure you plan some action.
Yeah.
So going back to the community of my grandfather and the spirit that I thought, I want to be a community guy. And I'm proud to say I have been a community guy because I've worked with NSPCC.
Yeah.
I've been to so many schools. I've worked for Gateway 97.8, like you said, as a volunteer. I've worked for the Seek channel. I've done numerous TV shows and interviewed so many people. And all this, I think my granddad would be looking at me from upstairs and saying, Jag, you're doing a good thing, because society has become a little bit selfish, where people just think about themselves. I've got to get the loft done. I've got to get the garden done. I am the type of person who sat back and said to myself, what am I giving to the community? What do I want to give to the community? And just like yourself, what you do now with this great podcast is you're giving to the community. There's going to be someone out there I hope that's going to listen to this podcast, and it will change their life. And all you have to do in life is find one passion, be it the gym, be it training, being healthy. Just do it. Give it your life. Give it everything for 6 months. Just 6 months. It will change your life. Because once you join that gym, once you start reading that book, once you start making that plan, what you're doing is you're setting momentum. Momentum kicks in. And that momentum, okay, right, I know life gets in the way. You're writing yourself, Emmanuel. So you're writing your book as well, yeah? Sometimes life gets in the way, something happens, or you have to go for a job, or you have to take care of someone in the family. That's fine. That's okay. Or sometimes you just want to rest.
Yeah.
You just want to have a break.
Yeah.
You have to have a break sometimes. Because,
Yeah.
God, I've been writing this book for 5 years. You never have a break.
Yeah.
But get back on it.
Yeah.
Now, the person who has a break or just relaxes for a little while and gets back on it, feels you're in a different state of mind, but just get back on it and make it happen.
Yeah. So, talking of the story that you've narrated, apart from taking the inspiration from your grandfather, would you say it was the guy that you came in contact with, Ben, who introduced you to your first personal development book on sales? And from that moment, you decided that this is the course that I want to be on. I want to teach people the science of motivation. And, you embarked on that course and you've never looked back.
Yes. Ben helped me out a lot. And I found when Ben made me get this book, To Master the Art of Selling by Tom Hopkins, it was revolutionary for me. Because coming from windows smashed, degraded in school by people, I thought to myself, wait a minute, if there's anyone who can big me up, first of all, I've got to start with myself. I've got to big myself up. I've got to say to myself, Jag, you can go forward and do this. So I took it a step further, Manuel. What I did was I listened to what Ben told me to do. I followed these steps, but then I took it a step further. What I did was, those days we had no email, by the way. I think I was about 19. Those days we had no emails. So if you wanted to write a letter, someone or send a message, you have to physically write it with your hand and post it.
Yeah.
I wrote 10 letters to 10 billionaires
Yeah.
individually.
Yeah.
Okay. And I asked them, I said, what is the secret of success?
Yeah.
Now, to tell you the truth, I thought these guys would not reply because
Yeah,
they're busy in
because
their lives.
as a 19 years child, I mean, that is so, how do I put it? That is so unbelievable, because 19 years, what is happening in your head that you could, like you could think about and say that I'm going to look for the secret to success, and you write to all these people,
It was because I knew I had to learn. Knowledge is important, very important. For example, when you learn to drive a car, you don't know how to drive a car. You have to learn, you have to read, you have to see, you have to manually actually practically do it. I wanted to find a secret of success because I wasn't going to waste this life. And our life that we will have is a gift. It's a magical gift. Yeah, we just need to make the most of it, and that's why I'm here today. So anyway, so I wrote to these 10 people, billionaires, and I asked them the question. I said, "What is the secret of success?" As I said, I didn't expect none of them to write back. Months went by, and eventually my mum said to me, she goes, "Oh, this letter's come for you." And what? And I looked at it, and it's from one of the Japanese billionaires that I wrote to. So I opened this letter up, and right in the center of the whole blank piece of paper, there's one word.
Yeah.
And it was Kaizen. Now, 19-year-olds, I haven't got Google like we have today. I haven't got a phone.
Yeah.
I can't go and Google it and everything. So what I had to do was get on the bus, go to the libraries, go in. It was raining, whatever the weather was. I went to all the libraries and I started my investigation. Now, this billionaire was the psychology behind what he had done was quite unique as I thought about it over the years. He gave me the word. Now I had to pay the price of investigating it.
Yeah. He never explained it to you right away.
Because he thought to himself, if this guy is really serious about success, he will go out and find out what it means. If he doesn't, then he doesn't deserve success.
That is a big one.
And I never thought, only recently I thought about that. I thought, wait a minute, why did he not give me the explanation? So anyway, then when I done my research, I went out there and I found out the word Kaizen means. They're Japanese words, and it means constant improvement in every area of your life. And it was like, wow, this is great stuff. Now, constant improvement in every area of your life means working hard in achieving your goals in every area. And that includes your family, your children, spending quality time with them, working hard, spending time with someone who you haven't contacted for a long time. It's still constant improvement because you're reaching out to people, working hard. Of course, get that book. Say, for example, you're going to write a book. Get an idea. Don't just make it an idea and leave it there and put it on the shelves. Take small steps, baby steps. Get the outline done of the book. Now what happens when you slowly start doing things to achieve your goal, for example, writing a book, you start feeling good about yourself.
Absolutely.
You start thinking, wait a minute, I'm actually doing this.
Yes.
Because, and nobody has to go out there and climb Mount Everest. No Herculean task, nothing massive. Small steps, start small steps and start making your way up. And eventually, when the dots are all there, you connect the dots together and you have something that you have created. Now, creation is very important for everyone. This day and time, there's a lot of issues out there regarding depression, mental health.
Yes.
It's more than ever.
Yes.
Because as human beings, we need to evolve. If we do not evolve, if we are not making the best of our life or trying our best, then we are stuck in the same slot. We're not moving forward. And what happens is when this happens to some people, where 1 year goes by, 2 years goes by, 3 years, and they're not achieving nothing in their life, depression kicks in. You start thinking to yourself, I could do more than this. Oh, look at him across the road. Look, he's doing this, and they're doing this, and and you start feeling down to yourself. Start feeling down. Now, creation, when you sit there and you think to yourself, it doesn't matter what it is, even if it's that eBay business, even if it's that book, even if you just start taking small baby steps creating it, you create a feel-good factor. And the feel-good factor starts building inside you, and you start thinking to yourself, wait a minute, I'm actually doing this. And it doesn't, I said before, it doesn't have to be nothing big. Just join the gym. Make sure you go once a week to the gym, twice a week. Get those supplements, vitamin D, zinc. Start taking them. And these things also or make us feel good. The biggest issue we have today, Emmanuel, which is stopping many people from achieving their dreams, is technology. Phones, iPads, especially for the young generation. And my advice is out there that, okay, fine, go on the phone now and again and see some funny videos and everything. But if you go back in time, in my time, if I wanted to know about Marco Polo, for example, I had to go to the library.
Yeah.
Michelangelo, I had to go to the library. But now we've got all that information in our hands. It's all there. But people are spending too much time looking at non-productive things which are not going to get anything, make them achieve anything in their life. So let's use that tool that have been given. We don't need to go on the bus no more. We can just look at that tool and how to be successful in writing, how to be good at going, how to train your body, how to train the legs, how to train the quads. It's all there. We can use it to our benefit. But unfortunately, many people aren't. It's been used for the negative, and some people are. Laziness is kicking in.
Yeah.
It's kicking in. I'm going to be real here with you, Emmanuel. Laziness is kicking in, especially with young children, because now this day and time, when the average child, they wake up, first thing they do is go on their phone. Let's wake up. Let's see nature. Let's look out the window. Let's speak to our relatives on the breakfast table in the morning and the dinner table. Let's find out how things going. Because one of the rules in my house, Emmanuel, is that we're not allowed the phone on the dinner table. It's not allowed. It's communication. And like I said to you before, we were talking earlier. I remember when I walked in the room and my wife's on the phone, my boy's on the phone, and my daughter's on the phone, and I'm standing there. Exactly what you said earlier.
Yeah.
And it's like, guys, the art of conversation is dead.
Yeah.
And my boy said to me, and I said, I'll do so many things. I write a book, I do TV, radio, I should be on the phone more than any of you three put together.
Yeah, for your research purposes.
But I'm not. I spent half an hour, maybe an hour on the phone. And my boy said something to me. He said to me, Dad, that's because you're not normal.
How? How does he say you are not normal?
Because in the average that generation at this time, for them to be on the phone all the time, it's normal.
That is what they see as normal.
Yes, I mean,
that
only
is
the other
not
day,
normal.
I'm watching my daughter, man, when she's cooking something in the microwave, and she's got something out the freezer, and the phone's still in her hand. And she put the thing in the microwave, she's doing that, and the phone is there. It's always there, and it's like, we need to isolate ourselves from the phone sometimes and get that blank piece of paper and make a list of what we want to achieve in life.
Yeah,
That's step number one. And from what we learned from the Billionaire, the Japanese guy of Kaizen, is that constant improvement in every area of our life. Yeah. If someone sat there and they made a tally of how many hours they spend on their phone every week, some people would be very surprised. Yeah. Now, if they would change that around and use that time to go to the gym, to write that book, to speak to people, to learn from people, what craft they want to earn. I think it was Arnold Schwarzenegger who said that you've got to spend 10,000 hours in your craft to get somewhere.
Yeah, the 10,000 hours.
Are people really putting that time in to learn their craft? I mean, the first step that people need to start is how to improve themselves as a better person. Yeah. Because depression cannot handle gratitude. Yeah. Depression cannot handle self-improvement. Yeah. They can't live beside each other. Yeah. They can't coincide. It can't work, because how can you be depressed and have gratitude of life at the same time? Try it. You can't do it.
Absolutely.
It cannot be done. So let's have gratitude. The first gratitude people should appreciate is the fact that they've got time. Yes. Now, talking about time is a very strong factor. Time management. We all need to support this great gift that's been given to us, life. The clock's ticking. Yeah, no one's going to live forever.
Absolutely.
The clock is ticking. Yeah. Now, people need to create a sense of urgency. Yeah? Not get into mode of stressed out about it, but create a sense of urgency that we're not here forever. Yeah. What legacy do you want to leave behind? Some of the great legacy people can leave behind is by having a child, a boy or a girl. And that's a great legacy. Yeah. Planting a tree is a great legacy to leave behind. But I think we can do more than that. Mm-hmm. I think we can go beyond that, because there is no craft that we cannot learn, nothing that we cannot get help with. And when I was writing my book, because when I was 13, I couldn't read or write. I, as I said to you, I always had this dream about writing a book. Yeah. Always had this dream about writing a book, but I didn't know what noun was. I didn't know what pronoun was. I didn't have a clue. Yeah. But I'm writing a book. Yeah. So I'm writing this book, and I've written the first chapter and everything. And I showed it to my brother, and he said, "Jag, I'm going to be honest with you, mate. It's really crap. It doesn't make sense. Yeah. I can't really make it sense." So now I'm sitting there thinking, now at that point in life, when you get to that stage, you think to yourself, right, I've got two options. One, I give up
Yeah.
because I'm crap, never going to get nowhere. I'm
Yeah.
not a writer. What am I doing thinking about being a writer?
Yeah.
How can I be a writer? Or secondly, you say to yourself, I'm going to reach out. There's bound to be someone out there that can help me. Lo and behold, I came across this guy called James Minter.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this guy, I sent him a copy. We met on, we contacted each other on Twitter, and he's a great guy. And he's written so many books himself. And I thought, yeah, I follow him on Twitter, so I followed him. And he got to, we started speaking, and I let him know what my book was about the fact that how Asians and blacks were treated in the 1970s, the toughness he went through. And he liked the story. And he said to me, because of the aspect of your story regarding bullying, racism,
Which is the message behind the writing.
Message behind the writing, I normally charge a lot of money for editing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to do yours for free. Now let's go back a little bit.
Yeah.
I had two choices.
Yeah.
To give up,
yeah,
or reach out.
Yeah.
I reached out.
Yeah.
So my message to everyone is that don't give up. Keep
Yeah.
reaching out.
Yeah.
There's going to be someone out there
Yeah.
that's going to help you. And I think the same applies to you as well, Manuel.
Yeah.
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
People out there, these angels come from places and they help you.
Yeah.
But first of all, are you prepared to reach out and ask for help?
Yeah. I agree with you on that, and I'll come back to talking about your book. The writing process, what you went through, to be able to get it out of your head. But the next question I'd like to ask, and I know it's going to sound more like a dumb question, but I'm going to ask you anyway, simply because I grew up, watching my mom and my stepdad, work 6.5 days a week. They were poor people. They didn't have anything, but they had this little trade somewhere. But the kind of commitment that they had towards their job and their life, there wasn't anything like, today I feel like it, today I don't feel like it. And so coming from that background that I'm coming from, I never knew about motivation and the intricacies with it until I crossed over here from Africa to Europe and I stepped foot in the personal development world, So it kind of makes me wonder if the idea of motivation, if it's real at all, or if it isn't real at all. Because like I've said, until I stepped foot in the personal development world, I came to realize that there's a whole big word on its own and we need motivation to go after our dreams and stuff like that. So the question I want to ask, as you being a motivational teacher, is that what is motivation and why do you think it's important as far as the pursuit of our goals and dreams in life, is concerned?
Motivation is, there are some people, we all come across these people that have got no motivation in life whatsoever.
Yes.
Especially young children. I mean, I was speaking to a relative of mine. He's 20 years old, just stopped uni, isn't really going to uni no more, isn't really studying no more, doesn't go to the gym, sitting at home playing PlayStation. Now, I would try to motivate anyone I can, but his family. Okay, so I'm sitting there, and if I wanted to, I could say to myself, do you know what, leave him how he is, let him carry on doing what he's doing, it's his life, blah, blah, blah. But you know me, Emmanuel, I'm not going to do that. Okay, so I'm on his case. I phoned him up and said, right, what are you doing? Are you going to get a part-time job? Nah. Are you going to go out there and carry on study? Nah. So how do you deal with someone like that? Now, to me, this is a challenge because I come across hundreds and hundreds of people like this. But again, it's just about making them realise, waking them up because this life is amazing. So I went through the stages with him. First, what do you want to do in your life? What do you want to be? And let's try and create some ambition. Oh, nothing. Absolutely, I don't care.
He said nothing?
Yeah, nothing. No, I don't really care. I'm okay the way I am. And I've come across a lot of people like this, Emmanuel. A lot of people like this. So I said to him, the clock is ticking. So now I'm going to try to create a sense of urgency. Okay, the clock is ticking. Time doesn't stand for no one. Doesn't stop for no one. If you'd gone to the gym 5 years ago, where would you be today?
Yeah.
And he said, yeah. I suppose I do want to start a bit of training. Got him. Right, we're getting somewhere now. Now, the next question was, if you start the gym today, where would you be in 5 years' time? Next, he went out there and joined the gym straight away.
Consistently.
And he joined the gym.
Yeah.
He went out there. Today he's going to the gym. Second thing was that you need to start a job. You need to start working.
Yeah.
I don't want to work. Okay. So how are you going to support yourself? Will you feel good when you get paid at the end of the month for working hard? And not only that, Again, back to the sense of urgency. You haven't worked for the last 5 years, but if you had, how much money would you have in your bank account today? What have you got today? Nothing. What would you have? Again, going forward, if you can start working today or soon as possible, where will you be in 5 years' time? And you wouldn't got a job.
Yeah.
So he started working, started going to the gym. Now, what happens, Emmanuel, is when you actually take the steps to do something and you keep doing it, momentum kicks in. Momentum kicks in. I like to work out and training, but there are days when you've got to relax and take it easy. And I am a big offender of someone who sits there watching TV going, I should be doing that. I should be doing that. But no, we need to sometimes chill out. So we need to relax, work super hard, but then super relax as well.
Yeah.
As I said before, we're in a
It's
time.
like work hard, play hard.
Yeah,
that kind
you've
of
got
thing.
to chill out because we're in a time now, like I said before, there's a lot of mental health issues rising, a lot of depression, a lot of stress, gratitude, making goals, and following the goals, following the plans that you make. And please don't just get from A to B first. Like, for example, if you're writing, just get the outline done first.
Yeah.
Don't about writing the book.
Yeah.
Don't think of the end product. Every day, step by step is a cinch, and by a yard, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's really hard. So don't try and jump it. Small pieces. Learn from people. And there are people out there who can help you. There are a lot of people just need to reach out and ask the question, like I did with James Miller.
Yeah. And talking about people being out there to help you, my own journey and my own story has been an example of that. Talking about that. I mean, this podcast that we are on today, it couldn't be possible and it couldn't come into fruition if I had not met, Lloyd, Lord Gardner, the head of production, our production, who, believed in the idea. And when I explained things to him, he was like, I'm going to help you bring it into fruition. So the idea of people being out there to help us, it's real. And I also believe in that. So yeah, I want to appreciate you for coming up with that. But my next question over here is, could you explain to us, the science, behind motivation, how it affects behavior? Do you think, motivation affects behavior at all?
Yes. So, putting it simply, a person who has no motivation in life, and that could be because of many reasons, because they've had a turmoil of something bad's happened in their life, some tragedies happened that's affected them. They've tried, and rejection can be a beast with some people. Because we know many people, and I've been there myself, where you write your book and you send it to the publishers. You think the first publisher is going to say, yes, I love your book.
Yeah.
Don't work like that. It doesn't work like that. So one of the greatest authors I've come across is Stephen King.
Yeah.
And Stephen King, what he did was when he wrote his first book, he wrote to so many publishers, and he had a nail in his wall. And every time he got a rejection come back, and he used to put the rejection letter onto the nail. Eventually, the rejection letters were so many, they got to the end of the nail.
Yeah.
And his friend said to him, he said, right, okay, Stephen, so you've written to all these people and they've rejected your book, and your nail's run out of space. What are you going to do now? And he said, I'll get a longer nail.
Yeah.
So basically, he was not going to stop. As I said before, people have tragedies in their life. For me, for example, my excuse could have been my terminal childhood. I had a bad childhood. I got beat up. I was racism. So therefore, I really haven't got no motivation in life. But I used that negativity as fuel. We can convert tragedies, bad happenings as fuel. We can turn it around. It's hard to do so. It's very hard to do so. But then again, it's that sense of urgency. The clock is ticking. Everybody has a dream, Emmanuel. Somebody wants to be a boxer, somebody wants to be a writer, someone wants to go to the Olympics. People have got dreams.
Absolutely.
But please do not bury those dreams. Get those dreams out and start small, slowly make your way up.
Yeah.
And motivation, once you start taking the steps, then you need to fuel yourself with more motivation to like, well, if I can do A, B, I'm sure I can do B to C. I could do C to D. And eventually, before you know it, you're on Y and you're near Z. And like when I finished my first book, Unbreakable, was actually completed after 3 deadly drafts, then 8 more drafts. It was gruesome. But do you know what? I feel I'm top of the mountain. I've done it. I've sent it out there. Not only have I sent it out there, it's also sending a message of what the book has. And the message of the book is that although I went through a tough time growing up, just like you did yourself, a tough time growing up, we can turn it around. We can go forward and make a better life for ourselves because we are responsible. And I repeat that, we are responsible. When someone looks themselves in the mirror, that person they're looking at is a person that's responsible, no one else. But I also believe that in the Bible it says, be bold and mighty forces will come to your aid, like they did for you, like they did for me. But we have to be brave first.
Yeah.
And there's a good one that I tell my children is that before you go around the whole world looking for help, look in your garden. And now I'll explain what that means is that the answer, the help you're looking for might be even closer than what you think.
Yeah.
But first you have to look in your garden. Look around you first. So who is it in my family? Who is it in my friends who could help me? And if you look, you might find someone. If you don't, then you start stepping outside. Then you go on social media, you follow someone and you ask them for advice.
Yeah.
Please, can you give me some advice? I want to write a book. And I did that. After I got the response from a billionaire, I thought, I want to ask the question.
Yeah.
And that's another important factor about motivation, asking questions. Yeah. To keep the science behind motivation is that if you don't know how to do something, you don't know how to achieve something, reach out. There's someone out there who's going to say to you, this is how you do it. And today there's so many self-help books. There's so many books about how to learn boxing. As I said before, it's on Google now. It's all on the phone. We can simply sit in where we are right now, find out how to make a boat, how to make a car. We how to make anything we want. It's all there. How to become a mechanic. It's all there. But also we can reach out and get help. So the science about motivation is that you have to keep on a treadmill.
Yeah.
All right. Sometimes
keep going.
Sometimes you might not come to the treadmill to have a little break. That's fine. Have a break, but then get back on it.
Yeah. So in that context, would you say that the first point, to getting motivated, to working on any project that you set your mind to, if you have no idea about it, is reaching out and asking, people about it, like, how do you go about doing this thing so that you can be able to put yourself in that space to be able to get things going?
Yeah, of course. Just reach out and ask.
Yeah.
First, if it's, say, for example, somebody wants to start a certain craft or want to write, for example, writing a book. Say somebody wants to write a book, okay, and you've never written a book in your life.
Yeah.
First thing you need to do is find what you're going to write your book about.
Yeah.
Well, what's it about? Is it about your personal story? Is it about a craft that you know? Is it about a message you'd like to send to the world to make it a better place? What is your book going to be about? That's the first thing. No rush. Take as long as you want to find out, maybe a month or 2 months. Sit there in your head and decide what you want. Okay, that's step one. Now you've got an idea. Secondly, now you need to make an outline. Beginning, middle, and end.
Yeah.
Again, take your time. A month, 2 months, work it out. Yeah. Sometimes I'll be washing the dishes, and you'll know, joke, and I think, got it. That's what I put in my book. And you stop the dishes and you quickly go to your book and you make a note of it.
Yeah.
So first, asking the question, you get the beginning, the middle, and the end of the book. How's it going to be? Then you go and write your first draft. After you've written your first draft, celebrate the fact that you've written your first draft because you've actually gone out the way and you put your time into it. But when I wrote my first draft, like most writers, it was crap.
Yeah,
it was crap.
Yeah, the first draft is always crap.
It didn't make sense, but I got a rough idea which way I was going.
Yeah.
Then I wrote the second draft, the third draft. Then I started with my big rally of another 8 drafts. And by the time I got to the 7th, 8th, it looked crystal clear. The message was coming through. The impact of the story was there. The message I was sending out. Then, as I said before, I didn't know where to go with it now. So I needed someone to help me edit it because I'm no professional. I was no professional in writing at that time. So I met James Mint, as I said to you before, and he very kindly offered to read the book, edit it for me. And I've just done the second book now, and he's just finished editing that as well. So that I'm looking to publish that within the next few months. But just reach out, help is there.
Yeah. Now, in the course of your journey, you went on to also create and host your own television and radio shows on Sky TV and Gateway FM. Could you walk us through how it all came about and, the things that you went through to make it possible, the good, the bad, the ugly, the challenges, everything,
But the reason why I'm laughing, Emmanuel, is because I remember I wanted to go on radio to send the motivational messages to people because I'm always believing that we just need to keep throwing this out.
Yeah.
Like your podcast as well. We just need to keep throwing this out because there are people out there who are going to listen to this, and there's going to be that person who's going to look at your podcast or listen to my radio show and go, do you know what? I need to make something of my life. In fact, you know what? That dream I had,
they get
that was
inspired.
buried somewhere around
Yes.
me. I need to dig that dream back out. And, I don't have to be the best at it, but I can try,
Yes.
start. And I remember I contacted Gateway 97.8, they're a charity. And I spoke to a woman there called Yvonne. And when I first went to see her, I said, I want a radio show. And she goes, yeah, of course you can. Yeah, we got a radio show that someone does for an hour. We can give you a 15-minute slot to talk about your motivation, just to get you in it. I said, I don't want a 15 minutes. She said, what do you want? And I said, I want a whole hour.
Yeah.
She goes, yeah, but you've got no experience of radio. You don't know how to speak into a mic.
Yeah.
Have you ever done anything like that before? I said, no,
Yeah.
I never have. But I said to her, my passion will take over.
That is a big one. That is a big one. And the reason why I'm saying it's a big one is that I wish everyone could know this, because sometimes, and this is my opinion, and I stand to be corrected. Sometimes I believe the thing, or some of the things, that prevent some of us from living our dreams is the fear that we are not good enough at this thing or good enough at that thing. So we cannot, take the stand and begin. But you saying, based on that experience, saying that my passion is going to get me there or will take me there, it's a phenomenal, belief system,
Yeah, because like I said to you, I use the negativity as fuel. The reason why I said I want an hour is because I had so much passion in me, and I remember those kids and teachers degrading me, saying that you are nothing, you're going to be nothing in your life, you're going to be a failure.
Yeah.
All those negativity I got from them, I changed it to positivity and said, I'm going to go on this radio show and I'm going to talk about anti-bullying. I'm going to talk about equal rights. I'm going to talk about people not being degraded by people and be motivated and to encourage themselves to be the best people.
Yeah. So talking about the negativity, you changing the negativity to positivity. How do you do that? What's the process of turning that negativity, around into a positive one and using it to channel your life forward? Like, how can someone, do that if they are in a similar situation, listening to us or watching us?
That's such a good question, Manuel, because there are so many people out there that have faced tragedies. I'm not the only person on this planet to have gone through being bullied. I'm not the only person on this planet to have gone through racism. There are many people out there. But we have to, as human beings, there's a little somewhere in our heart is a little fire, a little flicker.
Yeah.
Right, that flicker, when you get degraded and people put you down, the flicker goes. The smoke goes.
Yeah.
We have to find a way to relight that.
Yeah.
We have to have a strong reason why to relight that. For example, my big reason was I'm going to show them people put me down.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it for them. I'm doing it for myself to say that, you know what? Look at you lot. You put me down then. You left me out.
Yeah.
Saying that I was a failure, never getting nowhere. I've written a book. I'm here today with your podcast and on TV. But it's not I'm not doing it for them. I'm doing it to prove to myself that, wait a minute, you guys were wrong. So for anyone out there who's been through some tragedy or been through some abuse or that's affected their mental health, this day and time we have got so much help available. There are experts on mental health, experts on depression. Reach out to your doctor. Reach out to these groups because they will guide you, they will hold your hand and they'll help you walk through it. Some people need that support. So before these people start living their dreams, they need to get in a good state mentally and physically. Once they've done that, once they've gone to the other side, and it could be someone who's an alcoholic or someone who's on drugs, firstly, before they start living their goals, they got to get off that stuff.
Yeah.
They got to clean themselves because otherwise they'll be fighting against themselves. Just like me, I had to get therapy to get over my childhood. And once I got that therapy, now I'm in a good place to go forward and live my goals. So the first thing is to have to change it is to reach out and get help from the doctors, from experts out there, get yourself dealt with, get yourself in a good position, and then you start making your goals, and then you will become unstoppable.
Yeah. Which makes therapy really, really essential, as far as our lives are concerned, from what you are saying. But, when it comes to the idea of therapy, and I know it's not, I didn't plan over it to bring this, conversation or this issue into our conversation, but it just has come up and I have to talk about it. There are so many people out there who, when you talk about the idea of therapy, they go like they don't believe in that thing, So people like that, looking at your own experiences and what you've gone through and, going through therapy and knowing that it helped you, get this far with whatever that you are doing with your life. What's the message that you could present to these people for them to know that, hey, therapy isn't that woo-woo or ha-ha thing that, you just go in there and sit and speak to people and that's it. It's something that is very effective on your mental health. And if you're going through something and you seek therapy, it's really, beneficial.
I come from a culture, the Asian culture, for example. I cannot think of a word of mental health in my language because the only word that comes to my mind is the word bargle, which means madness. That's it.
Yeah.
So that's not right. Okay. So Asian culture has been exactly what you're saying. It's not only the Asian culture, it's been other cultures. When you start feeling down, depressed, it's like, oh, we're not going to go and get help. We don't need to go and get help. We don't need to reach out to the doctors because it will get better itself. It'll take care of itself. Blah 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 blah. I am not ashamed to admit that therapy helped me. Okay, and it's a brave step. It's a brave step to go out there and get help. But I would advise anyone who's going through any issues that they owe it to themselves to have a better life. You owe it to yourself to have a better life. But that is not going to happen until you get help. Now, these guys you speak to are professionals. They're experts. They deal with these issues every day. And they are actually waiting for people to come forward who are going through these tough stages of life, and to help them, make them a better person. So my advice to anyone, to answer your question, Manuel, is that there is no shame in therapy. There is no shame in making yourself a better person, and it takes what it takes. When someone gets that attitude in their mind, that flicker comes that we were talking about earlier, the flicker comes up. It's like, I'm going to do whatever it takes to get through this. That's when you will start that journey of making yourself a better person.
Yeah. Now, bringing the conversation back to what we're talking about, which is motivation. Would you say, as someone who has been teaching, the science of motivation to, people for the longest of time, would you say in our current culture of work, motivation is overrated?
Motivation is never overrated. The reason why I say that is because children, I can just take children, for example. Yeah. If you bring a child up with praise, I actually did this with my children. I brought them up with praise. It doesn't matter what they did. It doesn't matter how big or small it was. It's like, well done, Josh. Well done, Leisha. You know, little kids, when they look at you and you say, well done to them, and that little cheeky little smile on their face. I've just done this and I've just achieved this, Now, when they do that, what you don't realize is happening is that they're building something called confidence. Oh, wait a minute. If I do that for Daddy, Daddy says, well done. Oh, wait a minute. If I do this, they say, well done. Oh, if I'm reading my book, Mum, I'm reading my book, Dad, oh, well done. All the well dones build up. Now, this is basic motivation I'm talking about here. Right? Now, Josh, when I want to say to him, well done for reading, now he's motivated. There's a little seed in his head thinking that, wait a minute, I'll read more, I'll get more praise. Oh, wait a minute, if I help Mummy in that kitchen, I'll get more praise. Now, what kind of an adult is that child going to grow up into?
A very confident one.
Yes. But then, if you get the child on the other spectrum, like me, when someone says to you, you're worth nothing, you're never going to be nothing, don't bother. What kind of child do you turn out to be? A person who has got no confidence, who just has those visions of those people saying to them that you haven't achieved anything, you're never going to be anything. It's putting down. Then those people out, and there are many people out there who feel like that, they have to create a sense of urgency because everyone's life is important.
Yeah.
Everyone is unique in their own way. And I believe we all have a gift to give to this world.
Yeah.
Everybody has. So to answer your question, no, motivation isn't overrated. And if we can develop, especially with children, if we can start motivating them at a young age, they will not suffer from lack of self-esteem. They'll be just charging forward, unbreakable. Like I said, everybody has a bad time now and again. Everybody has a bad time. We just have a little break now and again, but get back on it. But from parents out there, my advice would be give those children praise for even the smallest things they do and watch how their characters turn out.
So now, you being who you are, being the teacher behind, the science of motivation, and you coaching and inspiring people all over the globe. The question I want to ask is, do you ever get demotivated at all? Like,
of course
sometimes.
I do. Yes,
really?
Of course I do.
So
I'm only, one thing you must remember, Emmanuel, is that I'm only human. I'm only human.
Yeah.
So yes, sometimes I do feel a little bit like, only the other day, I was doing my book. I did my book for about 2-3 hours and I thought, oh God, when is it going to finish?
Yeah.
When is it going to finish?
Yeah.
But there's nothing wrong. Like I keep saying, there's nothing wrong with having a rest or a break. And what I find is that when you're doing something and you get to the moment where you're thinking, oh, can't bother with this no more. That is the time when you should not give up more than ever, because that is yourself saying to you, have a break, but please do come back. Now, the next day, I was sitting there thinking, I don't want to do this no more. I've had enough. But as I said to you before, the momentum kicks in and eventually it becomes a habit. You know, you wake up in the morning and you brush your teeth and you go downstairs, yeah? That's exactly the way motivation works.
Yeah.
Like my boy now, I see him. The other day I watched him. He come downstairs, but he brushed his teeth, got in his car, went to the gym. Come back from the gym, upstairs. Then he started reading. And he's doing that out of momentum now. Now, it's just because it's the habit.
Yeah.
It's a cycle. But as human beings, sometimes we create some bad habits.
Yeah.
And we need to get ourselves out of there, because if you're on a diet and you're cheating, who are you cheating?
Yeah.
If you're an alcoholic and you're getting that bottle, who are you cheating?
Yeah.
So we think nobody's watching.
Yeah.
So it's okay, we can cheat now and again. But the biggest person you shouldn't cheat is yourself.
Yeah.
And yes, I do get demotivated sometimes because I'm only human. I'll be lying if I don't. But I have to sometimes sit back and say to myself, you've got to have that little internal conversation with yourself. This is very important. All right, okay, so you're going to give up. All right, okay, have a break. But I'll tell you one thing, we'll get back on it soon. Just have a little break and get back on it, because now I need to make a list of all the reasons how I will feel once I achieve it. I don't want to go to the gym. I don't feel like going to the gym today. But what happens if I go to the gym 6 months constant? What happens in a year's time, 6 months, 2 years' time, 3 years' time? That's it. I'm going to the gym. Because as I said before, Emmanuel, the clock is ticking.
Yeah.
Our lives are so unique. And this gift we've given is just so special. We just need to make the most of it.
Yeah.
But we must. Rest if we must. Nothing wrong with that. But yes, get back on your feet as soon as you can.
Yeah. Yeah. So, talking about the idea of feeling demotivated, sometimes whenever you are in that space, what are some of the strategies that you use to bring yourself, back from that slump, that, demotivated space?
Well, the first one is I didn't go through everything that went through my childhood to be a loser, to give up. I didn't go through all that, so I can sit here now and say, do you know what? I give up with everything. I'm not going to try to do anything. I'm not going to try to write a book. I'm not going to try to go on a podcast. But I want to go on a pod. No, I just can't be bothered. Yeah, you have to create that sense of urgency and say to yourself, right, let's think of the reason why we started. Those people out there who don't feel like going to the gym, why did you start going to the gym in the first place? Because I wanted to be healthy. I wanted to look good on the beach. I want to do that. Hold those thoughts. Now, in your head, visualize yourself in that position. How do you feel? Well, I feel quite good. If I can go to the gym for a year and I can build my body up, I feel quite good. What happens if you don't go to the gym for 1 year? What's going to happen then? But yeah, one of the strategies is to remind yourself why you started in the first place.
Yeah.
Why did you start that podcast? Why did you start writing that book?
Yeah.
And ancestral-wise, thinking about my grandfather that you spoke to start off with, I do think to myself, he's looking at me right now saying, Jag, you better not give up.
Yeah.
You better not give up, because you know what hardship we've been through. And it also goes back, because when I was about 18, 19, I started reading so many books. I read the books of Mahatma Gandhi, Mother Teresa. These guys became my teachers, and Martin Luther King. And one thing that sticks to me always about Martin Luther King is, I have a dream.
Yeah.
We all have a dream.
Yeah.
Everybody out there listening or watching this podcast has a dream.
Yeah.
But guess what? They can achieve that dream. It's not going to be easy,
Yeah.
but start.
Yeah.
Get from A to B,
Yeah.
and then we see how the rest goes.
Yeah. So talking about going back to the basics, your reason why you started. If there is someone out there listening or watching us right now, but in spite of, having a reason, they are demotivated and they do not want to, get back up, what will be your recommendation to such a person that, you know what, I know in spite of your reason, you do not want to get back on the road and get things going, but do such and such a thing, and see if you wouldn't get back on track. What is the one thing or the one strategy that you could give to such a person so that in spite of whatever they're feeling, whether they want to give up or do whatever, they could come back to themselves, get that flame within themselves, sparked up again and be on the road again. And the reason why I'm saying this is that sometimes I know my reasons, for whatever I'm doing. I know it's all, but sometimes I could be in that space whereby, in spite of looking at the reason, getting back up, sometimes it's a very, difficult thing to do.
Yeah, we all have those days, Emmanuel. We just don't want to get out of bed.
Yes.
Everybody has that. Everybody
Yes.
has that time. Do
Yes.
you know what? I'm not doing much in my life. I'm not achieving anything in my life. I don't feel like getting out of bed today. We all have that. And as I said to you before, I'm only human as well. I'm only human, and we all are human. Now, this is where the battle begins. Okay. Now, you've got two parts of yourself. You've got one part that where you have the visualization of being someone in life, doing something in life, leaving your legacy behind. But then again, you also have the other part of it, which is like, why bother? Why bother? Yeah, or why me? I mean, I always see myself around children, and this should apply to every parent out there. That every parent is an inspiration to their children, and sometimes they can actually demotivate children by having bad habits. So your children are watching you all the time. What you do, the way you speak, and children, as you know, children pick up on this stuff. Now, I do over pressurize myself sometimes, but I feel good for it, for pushing myself a step further, because you have to push yourself.
Yeah.
Now, you're talking about a person who's got no enthusiasm, no motivation in life. They don't know.
Now, talking about that enthusiasm and motivation, the lack of it, what do you think happened to people, and because of that, they lose that fire in themselves? Like some people, you see them healthy, strong and kicking, but when it comes to taking life on, it's like the mojo is not there. Is there anything psychological that you think happened to these people, and because of that, they lose that enthusiasm?
Yeah, life gets in the way. I said this before, life gets in the way. You have some sort of tragedy, you may lose your job, you may lose your partner, or lose a loved person in your life, or something might happen, and life gets in the way. And as human beings, we are allowed to mourn.
Yeah.
We're allowed to grief, of course we are, and grief and mourning, it takes as long as it takes. Or if you actually wrote a book and you've actually sent it out to 20 people, and they've all said no, we're not. It's rejection, and you get buried in this stuff. Now, when you're at the pit, when you're at the bottom, this is the time for make or break. Okay. Now, I'm telling everyone out there, the human spirit is so powerful. We do not 100% realize the power of the human spirit. We just have to. We have to, for our loved ones, for the people around us, we have to find a way to get up. Now, for some people, that's easier said than done.
Yeah.
That's easier said than done. Someone watching right now or listening right now saying, it's easy for you to say that, but I'm really struggling there.
Yeah.
Which goes back to what we spoke about earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah. Luckily enough, we're in a country now where you can reach out and get help. And a lot of people, like you said, sit there and say, well, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to get help. I'm okay there where I am, everything. But we owe it to ourselves, because once you have come out of the pit, once you're climbed back up, you will be able to inspire people you won't even know you're inspiring. Because those people will look at you and say, well, look, he went through the bad times and he still got through it. Like all the tough times that I went through in my life. But some people listen to it, some people read my book and they say, did you really go through that? Did you really face that kind of racism? I mean, you're 8, 9 years old and your windows getting smashed, bricks thrown from, people shouting racist names out. You went through that and you're still here doing the stuff you're doing. You're walking, marching forward. And I say, yeah, because I didn't want to stay at the bottom of the pit. And as I said before, it's easier said than done for some people, but there is help available out there. So I say, please reach out and get that help, because we owe it to ourselves. This life's an amazing gift, and we must, like I said, planting a tree, having a kid, or even starting writing that book. Let's leave something behind that the world will make the world a better place.
Yeah. Now you spoke about books inspiring you, at the beginning of your journey. Could you share with us some of the books that you began with, and some of the books that you've read and they've inspired you so well, and it helped you become the man that you are today?
The first one was a book called The Power of Positive Thinking for Young People. And I'd advise any parent out there to buy this book for their children. It's by an author called Norman Vincent Peale. I think it's about 60 years old, 50 years old book. And this book I read and it inspired me so much. And my daughter, funny enough, my daughter was reading it the other day. And she went through 2 chapters and she went, Dad, do you know what? I'm reading this book, but I feel as if I'm talking to you. And that's how many times I've read this book. I read it again and again. And in this book, it talks about stop fuming and fretting.
Yeah.
Stop being moody. You know how to put your energy in something, especially a teenager, because teenagers have a lot of inside them.
Very emotional.
Yes, and get involved in more physical exercise, because that way you're burning off all the anger and resentment you have within you. And it had so many conceptions which you got from the Bible: be brave, mighty forces come to your aid. There was so much goodness in it. So that's the first book. I was a Power Positive Thinking for Young People. I advise every parent out there to get that for their children. The other one is these books, by the way, I read when I was 19.
Yeah.
And these changed my life. And I read them again and again and again. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
It's a viral book, you know. It's all over the place. Like,
You read it,
I've
Emmanuel?
read it myself.
You read it, Emmanuel?
Yeah,
One of the classics.
Yeah.
Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Some of the techniques I learned out of this book just totally rotated my life. Because, like you said, you know, I always still saw myself as a victim. A bad childhood, bad things happening, and I was a victim.
Coming from a minority background. Yeah.
But I had to use tools to climb out of that rut, out of that pit. And this book, Think and Grow Rich, Positive Thinking for Younger Children, these were the elements that I used. So can we use education and reading motivational books to make us a better person? Yes, we can. And very quickly, let me tell you something. I remember, right, when I bought my first motivational book, I must have been about 19 years old. And I remember I've got my first motivational book that Ben told me to get, Master. And one of my relatives, elder relative, was sitting there, and he said, "What's that?" I said, "It's a motivational book. It's, you know, going to better my life and everything." And, you know, he said, "What a load of cobblers. What a load of crap." He goes, "That guy, that book you bought, he's making money out of you." He goes, "If he gets 1 million people like you buy that book, then he's rich. But it's just a load of crap." And you know what? At that point, I had two options.
Yeah.
One, do I listen to this guy?
Yeah.
Maybe he's right.
Yeah.
This guy's like, you know, trying to make money out of me, so I'm not going to buy the book. Or the second one was, what have I got to lose?
Yeah.
If I read it, and even if I get that one change that changes my life, makes it better, I'll be better off. I took option 2.
Yeah.
Not only did I take option 2,
Yeah.
I bought every motivational book I could get my hands on.
Yeah.
Went to every seminar I can go to. And do you know what? I'm glad I did.
Yeah.
There's going to be some books that people read, and there's going to be things that you come across the book and you think to yourself, well, that don't really apply to me. I don't think that really makes sense. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
You don't have to believe everything you read in the book. And that's one of the first rules of reading motivational books I taught my children. If you don't believe in it, that's fine. Move on.
Yeah.
If you're going to come across things that you're going to go, well, that I don't think that's going to work, so I'm not going to try that. Yeah. But get the things that will work for you.
Yeah.
Because obviously you don't have to be brainwashing and everything. But yeah, I'm glad I did listen to my relative, because I don't think I'll be sitting here today talking to you, Emmanuel. But so my advice to children out there and people out there is read the books. And today, especially in the internet, is so much available. How to be a better person, how to be a better husband, how to have a good relationship with your partner.
Absolutely.
There is everything out there, and you don't need to go to the library.
Absolutely.
It's all there. It's all available to everyone out there.
Now, give us one more book, and I would ask my last 2 questions, and we would wrap up the interview.
Yes, the How to Master the Art of Selling, which is a great book, vintage book by a guy called Tom Hopkins, who introduced me those 3 words: do it now. Do it now. Not tomorrow.
That is a
not
powerful phrase, you know. I think Nike is also carrying the same phrase. Yeah.
Yes.
Just do it, you know.
Yeah,
that is for Nike.
Yeah. And like I said, if it's a task, for say, for example, sitting down with a child, I mean, how long is it going to take?
Yeah.
Just get it done. And not only that, you'll feel good for it because your family are there for you and they need you. So just get it done. It can be anything. It can be going out there, finding a job, joining a gym, doing a workout. Just do it now.
Yeah. And now, before I ask my last question, where can people find you on the internet, social media, you know, your social media handles? Can you share that with our audience?
Of course, Emmanuel. So people can log on to my YouTube channel, Unbreakable Motivation.
Yes.
They can follow me on Twitter at Jag Singh, that's SINGH_I can. And if anything we've spoken about today, if anybody wants to contact me to get any help or support, they can email me on Jag Singh with a H 70 at btinternet.com, and I'll be able to to speak to them.
Can you repeat the email again so
Yeah, of
that
course I
they
can.
get it clearer? Yeah.
Of course you can. It's Jag Singh, JAGSINGH 70 at btinternet.com. And I'm prepared to speak to anyone and help anyone I can.
Yeah. And now my final question, and it's the question that I ask every guest that we get on the show, and it's this: what is success to you? Because everyone has their own definition of success, So, to you, Jack, what is success to you?
Success to me is making a difference. Making a difference. As I said to you before, one of the biggest things that I like to, and I keep repeating this to my children, is acts of kindness. Acts of kindness. It doesn't have to be a big act of kindness. When you're walking down the road, you smile at someone. If someone's in need, help them. Just acts of kindness. Acts of kindness. The ripples it leaves, it's contagious. If you help someone, you smile at someone, that person's going to smile at someone else. And I think that's what we need a bit more today in our society, acts of kindness to help each other out so we can live in harmony and happiness.
All right, guys. So you've heard it all from the horse's own mouth. Jag Singh, motivational science teacher, author, life coach. And I think from the knowledge that he shared with us today, you can take something from it to better yourself and your life and keep being on your journey to success. This is the podcast, Your Successful Self. And until we meet again the next time, remember to subscribe and also let us know about your opinion over the whole conversation. We'll see you the next time. Bye-bye.